Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Black Butler, chapter 181. When we last left our heroes, we finally got to see Baldroy and Sebastian's conversation in the cave, as Baldroy was kind of invited to work for Ciel, learned that he was specifically hired for his ability to kill people, all stuff we all kind of knew, and I'm very glad that was not all of last chapter, because after that we came back to the 1 degree of flashback, and we saw Baldroy, with all these weapons he found in the basement, going to go fight the intruders. He initially assumes that they've already gotten to Finian and Mayrin, but of course Finian and Mayrin have killed most of the intruders. But Baldroy works out there are still some left, and so he runs to Ciel's room. He's about to start a fight with them. He flashes back to the kid in his flashback, and that's where we left off, with Baldroy and these intruders about to get into a shootout. Actual, borderline plot stuff last week. Almost impressive. Anyway, let's dive right on into chapter 181, The Butler Reviewing. Our picture here is of Baldroy kind of standing sullenly as the other servants are all it's a very Halloween-style picture. You see Sebastian with the vampire fangs. I don't think he has prominent fangs like that in canon. He might, though, being a demon and all. But with the full moon and the way the clouds are arranged and the fact that it's October, the painting gives me very big Halloween vibes. Classy and crazy manner. And we open where we left off with the two intruders outside Ciel's door, Baldroy down on the stairs watching them. And there's one intruder picking the lock and one who's the guard. And the lockpicker succeeds and tells the other it's open. And he opens the door right as they hear a thud. The guard readies his gun, and the lockpicker, I think, gets out his gun, too, to be surprised that it's not a bomb that was thrown, but just jam. And the jam rolls at them, providing Baldroy with the distraction he needs to start shooting. Hitting, I think, the guard right in the head, killing him right there. The lockpicker is still alive. He shoots, but Baldroy deflects it with, a bag, it looks like, maybe? Or I don't know, my first instinct is a purse, but that doesn't make any sense in context. Either way, it absorbs the bullet. If it went through it, it would hit Baldroy, but it absorbs it, or deflects it, or something, and Baldroy rushes the guy, puts the bag or whatever right up into his chest, and then I think shoots the lockpicker in the chest. Oh, it's a bunch of bags of flour that sort of cushion the bullet. And then we see, I think it's actually a knife he used to kill the lockpicker. And the lockpicker hits the ground, and Baldroy starts to say, "You can eat it, you can stop bullets with them. Flour's really good for everything." So we're seeing kind of the last time, in Baldroy's flashback within a flashback, he sort of came to the conclusion that, he had spent all his time thinking about money and weapons, but really food outweighs all of that, and we're seeing that put to good use here. Anyway, Baldroy then kind of thinks back to the flashback. Yep, no way you can recruit candidates by advertising in newspapers for this kind of work. And Ciel then barges open. Quiet! What are you doing so late at night? I guess he hasn't noticed the intruders. And then we see Ciel. I think this might be the first time. No, this is not the first time Baldroy's seen Ciel. Probably the first time he's seen him without the eye patch, though. And then Ciel looks at him. Baldroy kind of freaks out. Damn, he'll see the corpses. And Ciel just goes, "Oh, were intruders here to kill me yet again?" And Baldroy's kind of shocked at how laxly he's taking this whole incident. Yet again? I hope you haven't killed them all. You must capture at least one of them alive, and make them confess who their employer is. And Baldroy's just kind of stunned that Ciel is so, apathetic for all the violence. And Ciel just kind of gives this devilish little grin. They committed a serious crime by disturbing my sleep. I shall make them pay a heavy price. But I guess they're all dead, so I don't think he can actually do that. And he just yawns. Make sure you clean up the mess by morning. And he goes back to his room. And Baldroy is just so confused. And he hears this clapping behind him. And we see Sebastian doing this, like, mocking slow clap. I had planned to dismiss you if you let the intruders enter the master bedroom, but you deserve a pass mark. And that kind of pisses off this whole, like, lackadaisical vibe that both Sebastian and Ciel are giving off finally pisses Baldroy off. Hey! Did you risk that runt's life to test me? What were you thinking? And Sebastian kind of shrugs. I would have dealt with them if necessary. My contract with young master is to protect him to the very end. The means to do so is entrusted to me. And then I think this is still Sebastian. Now I understand. I had heard you're an invincible private warrior, who always returns alive in the bloodiest battlefields of the wars of aggression in the American continent. But you are not invincible. You're an ordinary human. However, you made your judgment in an instant, and acted without an ounce of hesitation. Your recklessness increases your chance of survival, as you lack the fear most humans possess. Our gardener and maid are highly skilled assassins, but they still lack experience, and are often careless like they were tonight. Going back to what Baldroy pointed out, how Finian let some of them get away because he was not counting who he was killing. So Sebastian continues to finally find something to praise Baldroy for. I want you to teach them what it means to fight a war of defense, as the senior servant who's in command. And Baldroy kind of sits with that for a sec and then scratches his head and accepts. Every single one of you is insane. Congratulations, you are also one of us now. Well, take the prey you bought down to the larder without delay. Humans spoil faster than game meat. I've already called for a refuse collector, and it's fucking Undertaker. Okay. I love the reminder, like, Undertaker was kind of a supposed ally for much of the early series. None of them have yet worked out that he's a Shinigami and a kind of rogue one at that. He will arrive at the tradesman's door tomorrow morning. And then Sebastian kind of comes to a quick realization. Yes, a final word with you. Yeah? Use the back staircase for servants the next time you come upstairs. Allowing guests to see you running about is out of the question for a servant. I mean, I guess, if you consider them guests. And Baldroy snaps, is now really the time to tell me that? And Ciel yells at them from inside, quiet, you two! To be continued, and that's it. Okay. So, please let this be the end of the flashback. If this is the end of the flashback, it works pretty well. At this point, I can't imagine what else Baldroy could tell Ada, given the context of the present right now. Like, it was supposed to be a, like, shared trauma thing, wasn't it? Like, we've both been through hell and war. So I'm not quite sure why anything that happened at the Phantom Hive Manor is relevant to that story. So, like, let's just... this is a good enough ending. I feel like it's, like, half the length of last month. But, like, at least it's over, I hope. Though I also said that about the May Rin flashback, and that went on for, like, 3 more months. But for now, this is... all things considered, given my perennial frustrations with Butler at the moment, it's in no way a bad chapter. It's, fully introducing Baldroy to sort of the world of being a Phantom Hive servant. As Sebastian goes on, you're now one of us. The question, of course, is, like, why do we need this? Why is this, or how does this fit in with what's going on in the present? Why is Baldroy telling Ada this? But if you can look past that, it's a fun enough chapter. We see a bit of Baldroy's quick thinking. It's one of those things where, like, you can see, like, Toboso is a good writer, even if she's just, like, incredibly, she writes such tiny little pieces at a time. And I've heard that the Twisted Wonderland game she does the character designs for is getting an anime. I'm really worried it's going to take her even further away from Butler, and we'll be getting less and less and less content going forward. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm worried about that. But yeah, back to my earlier point, it has some good callbacks to the flashbackception bit. With, like, the flower with food having all these many uses, that's, like, the most important thing. The callback to, like, you can't really recruit people for this kind of thing. And then we sort of see Baldroy's first real reaction to, like, the genuine Ciel, who's just, bodies. I'm used to that by now. So that's a good little bit, sort of introducing Baldroy to this world. I don't know, the randomest thought came to me, probably onto nothing. But, like, did Victorian nobles face this many kidnapping threats? Because we still don't, as I recall, really know why the 2CT incident happened, like, at all. Or, not the 2CT incident. Going back to the incident from the 2CT flashback. Why the inciting incident, why the cult, why the Phantom Hives were slaughtered. We don't know why any of that happened. They just kind of did. And so what's kind of on my mind right now is this incident a kind of continuation of that? Are these the same people, or are these more likely just another group of kidnappers because everyone's kidnapping Victorian nobles these days? I don't know. That kind of remains to be seen, I think. I imagine these are just random guys to sort of round out Baldroy's flashback arc. But it's an interesting question all the same. Because again, I don't think we ever found out why Vincent and Rachel were murdered and why the Ciels were kidnapped. I don't know. Like, was this a random thing, or was there a reason for them in particular? You know? I mean, given there's all the insinuation that Undertaker has some past with Claudia, right? Who's either Vincent or Ciel's grandmother, I forget which. I'm going back into, like, the pre-Blue Cult information, which is very, very lost, very, very scattered for me. So I might be missing something really obvious. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of something to think about long term. I don't know if that's going to get answered in the next decade, given how slow this series can be. But for now, it's a nice enough chapter. Again, it's not big. I wish there was more to it. I wish at the very least we had, like, you know how that has the black flashback borders? I wish we saw the black fading to white, signifying the flashback was finally done. Because without that, I'm worried we're going to get more flashback next month. But for now, it's a fine enough chapter. It's not, groundbreaking. It's really tiny as well. But hopefully this is a sign that we're just about done with this flashback and we can get back to the main side quest of the sanatorium. But for now, I'm thinking to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe. Do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!